Now on Morning Drive, the PGA Tour heads to Graceland. This morning, JB, Ricky, and Adam are rocking and rolling in Memphis.
I definitely like playing the week before majors. Ultimately, I want to be in contention here.
We have their warm-ups live. Plus, Phil Mickelson in the field this week, but not expected to play in the U.S. Open.
It feels different not playing next week, but I still have really come to enjoy this event a lot. I think that the golf course here, I think, is one of the most underrated we have on tour.
We examine Phil's predicament. Gary Player is having zero problems at the age of 81.
Get it! Ta, 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 ta!
He returns to our gym.
11, 12, right, what? Now, go, go, go.
And he's on the floor and teaching core. Plus, the best par 4 in the world. Peter Jacobson is here to choose his and break down golf course design. The only week of the year, Morning Drive is feeling the blues right now. And good morning. Welcome into Morning Drive, Thursday, June the 8th, the year 2017. This is Studio AP, Damon Hack alongside Gary Williams, the rest of the crew. In just a little bit, welcome back, partner. Good morning. Happy birthday. You're looking sharp. You got the elephants on your belt. You're styling, my man.
Well, I appreciate that. You did make a bogey yesterday. I'm not 51, I'm 31.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, you signed an incorrect scorecard.
My bad.
No, we had a nice day. Nice to have Mom here. But how about Game 3 last night? I couldn't stay up, nor could you. But look at this tweet. Bubba Watson, Jason Day, and Urban Meyer taking in Game 3 because the Cavs trying to climb back into the series. But look what happened. Well, it was Golden State that prevailed. How about post-game? Steph, what's on your mind?
Kept coming, kept coming.
What are you doing, man?
I got Bubba Watson here. He's getting my golf genes going.
We know golf gets you. You're probably more excited about that than the win.
I'm to watch him next week in the U.S. Open for sure, but
he is more excited about that.
He is. More star power in the audience or on the court?
Close.
Very, very close. Well, I'll tell you what, Steph can watch Bubba next week at the U.S. Open. He probably won't be able to see Phil Mickelson unless something changes. He will play this week in Memphis, of course. Today, 1:50 Eastern time is his tee time. Has a great record, a couple runner-up finishes in Memphis, but not expected to play next week at Aaron Hill.
And somebody else who will not be there is Ryan Moore. He's got a shoulder injury. He's going to be out 3 to 4 weeks. Coincidentally, the man who's replacing him, Michael Putnam, from his part of the world.
And how about Brooke Henderson on the LPGA Tour yesterday? Travis Fulton, well, he broke down her golf swing. She's a 3-time winner on the LPGA Tour at age 19. She's won twice in Portland. She won the KPMG Women's PGA Championship, trying to win for the first time, however, in her native Canada. So what should we look for today in Memphis, however? We send it out to George Savarickas.
Well, Damon, a few of the storylines to follow on Thursday at TPC Southwind. The first, Phil Mickelson, and what to expect out of lefty who has had 3 top 3 finishes in this event the last 4 years. Mickelson looking for his first win on the PGA Tour dating back to the 2013 Open. He's made a bunch of headlines the last few days with his decision to skip next week's U.S. Open at Aaron Hills. Mickelson instead going to attend the high school graduation of his oldest daughter, Amanda. He said it was no contest. It was one he clearly did not want to miss, and it's these special little moments with family that resonate even more to the 5-time major champ. Storyline number 2 to look at. Ricky Fowler and his golf game as he's in the midst of a career year on the PGA Tour, at least one of the best stretches we've seen out of the 4-time winner. If you harken back to 2014 when he had 4 top 5 finishes in all 4 majors, he played the week prior in all 4 of those with 3 top 10s, 4 top 13 finishes. So Fowler adding Memphis to the schedule for the first time in 3 years with an eye to maintain his game after a runner-up finish at the Memorial and peak going into the U.S. Open. The final storyline, it's the first round on the PGA Tour for the men's NCAA individual champ, Braden Thornberry, getting a look at this week's FedEx St. Jude Classic. Thornberry, the Haskins Award winner, looking forward to his first crack against the pros. Damon?
All right, George, how about a closer look at some tee times? 8:30 a.m. Eastern time, a trio of PGA Tour winners. You got William McGirt, J.B. Holmes, Peter Malnati. I'll tell you what, McGirt is 24th in the President's Cup standings. Holmes, 34th in the President's Cup standings. You got to believe that's in the back of their minds. 8:40 a.m. Billy Horschel, Kevin Chappell, Cody Gribble, each player with a win this season. You'll recall that Horschel beat Jason Day in a playoff at the Byron Nelson. And finally, 8:50 a.m. Ricky Fowler, Adam Scott, Daniel Berger. Fowler was in the thick of the battle at the Memorial last week before logging his 10th runner-up finish. That is a star-studded group. And speaking of star-studded, let's say good morning once again to Gary and the big-timer, Charlie Ryan.
Yes. Hello, Charlie.
Hello, Gary.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'd be doing a little better if I had some elephants drinking martinis on my belt like you do. But
maybe we'll get a closer look at that a little bit later on.
Thank you.
Let's focus on some of these players that Damon just pointed out in the morning wave here on Thursday. Let's start with J.B. Holmes, because I know you want to talk specifically about different areas of some players' games. Let's start with him. What is it?
Yeah, J.B. Holmes is a prototypical power player. When he's on with that driver, he makes the game so easy. So, you know, J.B. playing this week, I mean, obviously he wants to play this week very well in Memphis, but if he can get it going with that driver, you know, he's got that swing where he goes to the left, he holds on, he hits that big power cut. If he can get some confidence with that driver, not only will he have a good week this week, but he can carry that to an Aaron Hills. It's going to be 7,800 yards next week, and there will be room for J.B. Holmes to find those fairways at Aaron Hills. So that's the thing I look for in him. If he's on with that driver, this game is just so easy for him.
Yeah, no question. Ricky Fowler, you heard from him in George's report talking about wanting to play the week before. When you look at him and you look at the season he's having statistically, it's mind-blowing.
It really is. And Ricky Fowler, his challenge is playing up to his stats. When you start looking at his stats, they're absolutely amazing. He ranks #1 all around on the PGA Tour this season. That's where you just throw all of the stats in a basket and put everything together. And statistically, nobody is better on the PGA Tour. Keep in mind, he's having a very good year, but he's 8th in money. Look at the stats, his profile, all around. #1, total driving, and you dig down into that a little bit. He's 31st in distance, 19th in accuracy. That's a phenomenal combination.
Tremendous.
So he's driving the ball beautifully. He's hitting a ton of greens, ranked 23rd in greens and regulation. And here's what's really cool about Ricky Fowler. When he does happen to miss a green, he's 21st in scrambling. And I always look to sand saves. You know, that's sort of, you and I talk about that a lot because you're a heck of a bunker player. That's sort of how I judge a player. You know, when they get in the bunker, how good are they? Well, Ricky Fowler is really, really good in the bunker. So his challenge this week, if he does get in contention, which he said is his goal, is to finish, play up to those stats. It would be horrible for Ricky to be on or have the lead and not finish the last 6 holes on Sunday.
Yeah, it's interesting. The one stat that is not great for him is final round scoring average, but everything else has been outstanding. He may have hit the bunker shot of the year up until this point last week at the Memorial.
Yeah, on 18 at Memorial,
that
back bunker, he had a little spin on. He's got a lot of things going for him, and I still think that Ricky Fowler, quite possibly when we get to the end of this season, will be his best season that he's had ever on the PGA Tour. He's just doing so many things so well.
All right, let's end with a major champion in Adam Scott. And I know when you look at him, you focus in primarily on one thing.
The putting.
Yeah.
He's got to see some putts finding the hole. I mean, when you look at Adam, he's just such an elegant ball striker. He's never far off at all in his ball striking. And if he can see some putts falling, in particular in this range right here, and 4 to 12 feet, get some of those going, get some confidence, have him going in with nice speed. Again, not only can he be a factor at TPC Southwind, which is a very challenging golf course, but certainly he can get some momentum this week that will ride him into next week. A lot of those putts that you're faced at the U.S. Open, even if you are a great ball striker in that 6 to 12 foot range, those are par putts. And par putts a lot of times mean more to you than a birdie putt does. So he needs to see the ball dropping in the hole.
Very quickly, any concern now that he is not playing as much of a robust schedule for him to be have his edge, be as robust as he can be, playing right around 15 events a year?
You know, I'm always going to defer to his judgment.
Yeah.
Because it's tough. If you overplay, you get burned out a little bit, especially as you start to age a little bit, and he's got interest away from the course with his family. So you got to stay fresh, but you got to have that edge, and it's just something that's, you know, there's no perfect formula for that, and I'm sure it's something he's put a lot of thought into, and no, I don't have any question at all about it, because he's done a ton of planning. You just got to stick to your game plan. It's like setting a strategy for an individual round. You set a strategy for a season as well and stick to it.
It worked last year. He won a couple times in the state of Florida. For now, send it back over to Damon.
All right, Gita, we keep it moving. The Web.com Tour in Ivanhoe, Illinois for the Rust-Oleum Championship. You know, Arthur Hills redesigned the club back in 2003. Originally, it was a Dick Nugent design. I love golf in the Midwest. It's just gorgeous. Look at that beautiful template. Great place to play some golf this week for the Web.com Tour. How about some notables in the field? Mr. 58 is there. Stephen Yeager. You got Andrew Landry. What a nice run he had at Oakmont at the U.S. Open last year. Conrad Schindler, we spoke to him yesterday, fresh off his win in the Rex Hospital Open. And coverage begins at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time on Golf Channel. How about the LPGA, the Manulife LPGA Classic at Whistlebear Golf Club in Ontario? Another strong field. Brooke Henderson will be the native Canadian and favorite. You got IK Kim. She won at the ShopRite. Arya Jutanagarn on the verge of taking over #1 in the world. We will speak to her coaches, Pia Nilsson and Lynn Marriott, later in the show. We have a busy show, a very busy show. We say good morning to Bailey Mosier. Bailey.
Good morning, Damon. Yes, we do have a very busy show. Plenty to get to on the professional ranks later in the show. But first, let's get you updated with what's going on in the social media sphere. We have a tweet from Brett Lowry, MLB player and infielder. We have it for you coming up right here. It's a trick shot that he did with a 5-iron across the water. We'll wait and have it restart, play again. Pretty impressive stuff. He's a free agent right now. So with skills like that, guys, I think you want him on your team. So if you can recreate that trick shot, send it to us at GC Morning Drive, or any trick shot. Who knows, it could end up on our air. So now it is time to get you updated with the tee sheet, what's coming up on this Thursday, June 8th edition of Morning Drive. So normally we wait until Fridays to bring you fitness segments, but when you have Mr. Fitness himself, Gary Player, at 81 years young, pay a visit to Morning Drive. You spend as much time in the gym with him as possible. We are bringing you his secrets to staying fit. We have 2 segments with him this morning. And Forbes released yesterday their list of the highest paid athletes in the world, and only one golfer cracked the top 10. Which one is it, and how far behind are some of the game's other biggest stars? Does all that money mean they're less motivated to keep winning? Well, all that and more is coming your way monetarily and momentarily. And we have the top 2 female golf instructors in the world here with us in studio today. They have worked with some of the game's biggest names and are on the cusp of taking their 3rd player to world #1 in the Rolex rankings. So after you watch this segment, maybe you too can be #1 amongst your golf buddies. Morning Drive is live on a Thursday. We are with you until 9 a.m. Eastern Time. We'll be right back after this.
You said Gary's a great bunker player. What about me? What about me, Charles?
Gary's a great bunker player, but this is a great belt right here.
Player.
Pink elephant drinking